Hey, lovelies. Welcome back to Fly to Freedom. And before we get into this episode, I just want to give you a little heads up. It is a bit of a tough love one. Not because I'm wanting to have a go at anybody or because I don't care, but actually because I care so deeply about your freedom. And sometimes the most loving thing we can do for ourselves and for each other is to tell the truth, the real truth, even when it's a truth that we don't want to hear. So this isn't going to be a fluffy conversation about self-care. We're not going to be talking about bubble baths and candles and face masks. We're going to be talking about the kind of self-love that actually really creates change, the kind that feels like resistance, the kind that feels like you're lying to yourself at first, the kind that stretches you, challenges you, but ultimately frees you. So if you're ready to be called forwards, not called out, if you're ready to stop waiting to feel ready and start becoming someone who acts like she matters, then keep listening, because this one's for you. So let's start with something that might challenge the way you've always thought about self-love. Because we've been fed this message, sometimes subtly, sometimes loudly, that self-love is a feeling, that it's this warm, glowing sense of acceptance we're supposed to feel when we look in the mirror, that it's this confident, radiant energy that just arrives one day like a sunrise. And because we believe that, we wait. We wait to feel it before we act on it. When I feel more body positive, I'll wear the clothes I want. When I feel more confident, I'll go to that restaurant and eat what I actually want. When I feel more accepting of myself, I'll stop over-exercising. When I feel less like a fraud, I'll rest without guilt. But sweetheart, it's just not how it works. It's not how any transformation works. Self-love is not a feeling you wait for. It's a behaviour you commit to. It's not a mood, it's not a vibe, it's not something that clicks one day and suddenly you believe in yourself. Self-love is something you do. It's the choice to feed yourself, not because you're hungry in the right way or you've earned it or your body looks acceptable today, but because you're human and you deserve nourishment. It's brushing your teeth when you're depressed. It's saying no when you've spent a lifetime of people-pleasing. It's making the phone call, joining the group, setting the boundary, eating the fear food, showing up at the coaching call, because you've decided you're no longer going to abandon yourself when it gets hard. And the paradox that most people don't talk about is that the feeling of self-love often doesn't come until after the self-loving actions. You take the action first, even when it feels hollow, clunky, fake, and then your nervous system gets the memo. We're safe here, we're cared for, we're being treated like we matter. And that's when the feeling, the emotion of self-love starts to build. So if you're waiting for the inner glow of confidence or worthiness to kick in before you act differently, you're going to be waiting a really long time. But if you choose to act like someone who is worthy already, if you choose to treat yourself with care, with respect, with consistency, the feelings will catch up. Your brain and body will begin to believe what your actions are saying. So let's say you're standing in front of the fridge, you've had your meals for the day, you're full, but you're thinking about the cake in the kitchen. The old voice says you don't need it. You've had enough. This is greedy. You should wait until tomorrow. And the action that follows is restriction. The new voice, the self-loving voice, says you're allowed pleasure. You're allowed choice. It's okay to eat this simply because you want it. And the action that follows is eating the cake, no shame, just presence, and that's self-love. Or maybe it's the end of a long day. You've had a million thoughts about your body. You're exhausted. There's a little voice that says, just do a quick workout, burn it off. The old behaviour is that you listen, you push through, you collapse into bed later feeling exhausted, shaky, but in control. The self-loving behaviour is saying, I feel the urge to control through exercise, but I also know my body is asking me to rest. I want to build a different trust with myself now. So you rest. Maybe you cry. Maybe you didn't sleep great, but you didn't abandon yourself. And that's self-love. Or maybe it's something simple. You book the coaching call even though part of you doesn't feel ready or deserving of support. You show up. You let yourself be seen. You say, I'm struggling. That's self-love too. It's not always dramatic. It's the accumulation of 1,000 quiet choices. And when you start making those choices consistently, even when the old voice says, don't bother, you're not worth it, you start to change the story. You start to rewire your brain. You start to believe in yourself, not because you forced the feeling, but because you lived it. Let's go even deeper now, because this isn't just about mindset or willpower. It's about your brain, about your nervous system, and about what happens in your body when you choose something unfamiliar, something more loving, more nourishing, more aligned with the version of you that you're becoming. It's important to understand that when you choose to act in self-loving ways, especially when that hasn't been your default, you're not just making a decision, you're rewiring your brain. Your brain is incredibly powerful, adaptable, and committed to keeping you safe. But the catch is your brain defines safe as what's familiar. So if your history, trauma, conditioning, or your eating disorder has taught your brain that restriction is safety, that shrinking is safety, that invisibility, control, perfectionism, punishment are the ways to survive, then anything outside of those patterns will feel dangerous, even if it's actually healing. But discomfort isn't a red flag, it's a sign of change. So let's say you're doing something new. Maybe you're eating more than usual, resting instead of moving. Maybe you're recording a video for Instagram like I've been doing, putting yourself out there even though every cell in your body is screaming, stay hidden. Your heart rate goes up. You get a lump in your throat. You feel anxious, agitated, nauseous, and start to question yourself. Is this right? It feels wrong. I feel unsafe. I feel fake. And that is the moment where so many people stop. They misinterpret that feeling as a signal to go back. But the feeling's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something different. And different is what rewiring feels like. It's uncomfortable, it's noisy, it's messy, because your nervous system is recalibrating and your brain recalculating its safety map. Imagine your brain has spent years drawing a map that says restricting equals control equals safety. Being invisible equals no judgment equals safety. Following rules equals praise and validation equals safety. Shrinking equals belonging, being accepted equals safety. Every time you follow those paths on the map, they get more reinforced. The lines get darker, the grooves get deeper, and the path feels automatic. And then one day you decide to try something new. You step off the path, you take a new turn, you choose rest, you choose food, you choose softness, you choose visibility, and your brain panics. Where are we going? This isn't the route. This doesn't match the map. We might die. And of course it feels wrong and your body reacts because your whole system is trying to keep you alive. And new is often wrongly interpreted as unsafe. But the magic is that every time you repeat the new action with presence, breath, and kindness, you're drawing a new map. And the more you repeat it, the more natural it feels. And eventually your brain will look at that old survival map and say, we don't live there anymore. But another thing that I need to tell you is that rewiring is a process. It's not a single act. Imagine how many times you went down those old paths, those old roads on that old map. Doing the hard thing once is brave. Doing it again is progress. Doing it over and over and over until it feels normal is rewiring. Your brain doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be consistent. It needs repetition, time, and calm. So please don't judge yourself if the first 10 times you try something new, it still feels terrifying. That's normal. That's actually expected, and you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it differently. And different is the doorway to freedom. I'm going to share some more of my own rewiring journey here because I think it's helpful to know that I'm not preaching this from the top of a mountain. I'm actually in it too. As I said earlier, showing up on Instagram isn't easy for me. My default programming, my old map, was all about staying hidden, and I started doing that from an incredibly young age. And how I have been showing up on Instagram up until the last couple of months has been letting the work speak for itself, keeping myself slightly behind the scenes, which is felt safer, safe from exposure, safe from judgment, because when I was little, I learned that it's safer not to be seen. If I'm visible, people might reject me. If I speak loudly about the work I'm doing, maybe they'll think I'm arrogant or too much or too pushy or too cocky. But I know that I've built something incredible. The platform, the Eating Disorder Recovery Circle, is so full of depth, support, and love. And it's built for people who are ready to break free from the grip of their eating disorder and come back home for themselves. It includes incredibly powerful tools like the Feelings Navigator, that there is nothing else like that out there. Courses, coaching calls, workshops, community chat. It's all designed with so much love and care, and I know it helps people, and I'm watching it change lives. But if I don't talk about it, if I don't show up, if I don't share that it exists from my heart, then the people who need it will never find it. And that's the point where I had to ask myself, am I going to keep letting fear run the show and stay in the background? Or am I going to love myself enough, believe in this work enough to get uncomfortable? So I started recording reels and videos, started posting them, started being there, showing my face. And yeah, it made my skin crawl and I felt kind of sick and the thoughts were swirling and so many blocks were coming up like, oh, no, don't do it today because you haven't washed your hair today and you haven't blow dried it and you've got the wrong outfit on, and all these things came up, but I still showed up. And over time, the resistance is shrinking, the panic is softening, and the belief is growing. And this is what rewiring feels like in real life. I also really want to talk about your inner language, the script that you tell yourself, that your brain memorizes. So we've looked at how actions carve new neural pathways, but there's another incredibly powerful force quietly scripting your identity every day. The words you say to yourself. If actions are the bricks of self-love, language, your words, is the mortar that holds that structure together. Every sentence you think or speak releases chemistry. So harsh, shaming thoughts spike cortisol and adrenaline, and your body prepares for threat. Digestion slows and curiosity shuts down. Supportive, encouraging thoughts evoke oxytocin and serotonin. Your muscles soften and risk feels safer, and learning switches on. They've even done experiments on this on plants. Like in a first school, they had 3 plants, and one plant the children just ignored. It was just a plant, it was there. Another plant, the children spoke to it every day and said, "Oh, you're beautiful, your leaves are so lovely, I really love you, you're amazing," and were really kind and uplifting to the plant. And the third plant, they said, "You're disgusting, I hate you, you're a horrible plant," and were really mean to the plant. And the plant that they were mean to died. The plant that they were lovely to flourished. It grew so beautiful and big and strong. And the plant that they didn't do anything to was kind of just the same, but it didn't flourish, it didn't die. And it's been known for years that talking to plants helps them grow. So when you catch yourself saying things like, "I'm disgusting," understand that that's not just a thought. It's actually a biochemical command, and your body literally reorganizes around that sentence. Most self-criticism isn't loud abuse, it's subtle. Let's look at some phrases, why they hurt, and a reframe. When you say, "I'll try," it's non-committal. It's leaving the door open. But you could say, "I will," which is a commitment to yourself. When you say, "I should," this is a shame-based obligation. Instead, you could say, "I choose to." When you say, "I can't handle this," you are quite literally reinforcing helplessness and a victim identity. But you could say, "This is hard, and I'm learning how." When you say something like, "I always mess up," that's a judgment on you. Reframe it to, "Sometimes I struggle, but I'm practicing consistency." Listen out for these micro phrases. They seem innocent, but each one starts to chisel the belief that you're powerless. And also notice the difference between something that says, "I feel anxious," or "I am anxious." When you say "I am anxious," that is your identity. But when you say "I feel anxious," you're experiencing an emotion. Feelings are transient data. Identities become prisons. So start labeling experiences, not yourself. So I would like you to do this 3-step practice. It's called neural editing. So catch the phrase, pause, name it, like, "I'm such a failure for eating that." Number 2 is challenge it, whether this is an identity or a moment. So with the "I'm such a failure for eating that," challenge it. Is it true I'm a failure, or did I just eat beyond comfort or a fear food? Then change it, replace it with a precise or compassionate truth. And you're going to know what that is if you think about how you'd speak to somebody else. So you could change that "I'm a failure for eating that" to "My worth doesn't change with anything I eat." I would love you to use voice note repatterning, which is tiny daily exposures. Open your phone's recorder each morning and speak 1 minute of future truth statements out loud, such as, "I am rebuilding trust with my body. My body is healing. Food is fuel and connection. I deserve to be seen and heard." And keep playing these back to you. Hearing your own voice declare these truths accelerates the acceptance of them. The auditory cortex reinforces the prefrontal scripts you're writing. Remember my visibility rewiring. The internal dialogue that I was experiencing used to sound like, "You're being too pushy. Other coaches do it better. No one actually cares about your platform." And I actually rewrote this script to say, the fact check, is it salesy? Is it pushy to tell people what I'm doing? The future truth, somebody will feel supported, helped, will know that they're not alone today because I showed up. And the permission, it's safe to promote my work when it's helping other people. It's safe to promote work that heals. And I still hear the old noise occasionally, but it's faint, like a radio in another room, because the new dialogue is getting louder, because I'm practicing it every day. Every time I start recording a reel, I'm practicing it. One compassionate sentence won't change your life, but 10,000 will. So every redirect is a neural vote for a kinder reality. Every gentle phrase lowers the threat and widens the window of tolerance and makes brave actions easier, which then feeds back, reinforcing the words. It's like a language action flywheel of self-love. I would love you to just pause for a minute and notice one sabotaging phrase that you've already said today, and then run through it, catch it, challenge it, change it, right now, with me. Yeah. Now that you're speaking to yourself like somebody who is worth fighting for, let's talk about what showing up for ourselves actually looks like when the needs pile up and the excuses get loud. This is the part of self-love that most people avoid. We talk a lot about listening to your body, being kind to yourself, giving yourself grace. And yes, that all matters. It's essential and it's beautiful. But if we stop there, if we only give ourselves grace when it's easy, we stay stuck. Because real self-love isn't just about doing what feels good. It's about doing what is good for you, especially when it's hard. And that means learning to meet all of your needs, not just the ones you like, not just the ones that are easy to meet, and not just the ones that feel acceptable. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself will feel like the last thing that you want to do. And this is the part that catches almost everyone off guard. When you've made the decision, you show up, you're eating more, you're resting, you're speaking kindly to yourself, you're challenging the old beliefs, you're doing the thing that recovery and your freedom is asking for you. And it feels fake, awkward, forced, wrong, like you're lying. And then that voice comes in. You know the one. This isn't you. You're just pretending. You're lying to yourself. You don't even believe this. It's ridiculous. It's pointless. It's just big lies. And for so many people, it's where they stop because they assume that the discomfort means they're doing something wrong. And the resistance is proof that they're inauthentic. And because it feels so unnatural, it must be false. But what if I told you that awkwardness is not a red flag? It's a green light. The feeling, the sense that it doesn't feel like me. This is exactly what rewiring feels like in the moment it's happening. There's a term in neuroscience called limbic friction. It refers to the tension, sometimes subtle or sometimes intense, that occurs when your prefrontal cortex, the rational growth-orientated part of your brain, tries to override the well-worn patterns in your limbic system, the emotional, safety-driven part of your brain. In other words, it's what happens when you try to grow. You say, I want to believe I'm worthy, and your brain says, we've literally never thought that before, abort mission. And that's limbic friction. It's why you can speak a beautiful affirmation and still feel hollow afterwards. It's why you can eat the fear food and then panic and drown in guilt. It's why you can show up to a coaching call and feel like a fraud, like you don't deserve to be there, that you're not sick enough. It's why I can post a heartfelt video about the circle and still feel like maybe I've said too much, maybe no one wants to hear it, maybe it's safer to not do this. The dissonance is real, but it's not wrong. It's just the signal that you're doing something new. And it's not just neurological, it's emotional. Because when you begin choosing self-love, you're also beginning to let go of an old identity. An identity that might have felt like it kept you safe. An identity that said, I'm the good girl who never takes up space. I'm the thin one or the fit one. I'm the high achiever. I'm the one who is always fine, who doesn't ask for help, who stays in control. When you start feeding yourself differently, treating your body differently, letting yourself be seen, your entire inner identity gets shaken. And your ego, which thrives on predictability, panics. Who even are you if you're not doing this the way you always did? And it tries to pull you back. Not because it's bad, but because it's scared. The fear shows up as thoughts like, this is fake and it's not working, you're not doing it right. Go back to what's familiar. But sweetheart, what's familiar is what's been hurting you. What's familiar is what kept you small and hidden. What's familiar is what led to self-abandonment and disconnection and fear. So yes, it will feel completely fake and wrong before it feels right. And you're not faking it, you're forming it. You're laying down new tracks and they don't feel smooth yet. So let's normalize this. Healing feels weird and wrong before it feels good. Resting after years of movement compulsion will feel lazy. Eating when you're physically full but still emotionally hungry will feel greedy. Speaking up in a group when you're used to being silent will feel self-centered. Saying I need help when you've always gone it alone will feel weak. Celebrating your wins when you've always downplayed yourself will feel cringy. And looking in the mirror and not criticizing yourself will feel dishonest. But all of that awkwardness is not a sign that it's not working. It's a sign that you're on the edge of something, that you're entering new territory, and your nervous system just hasn't caught up yet. So it doesn't mean stop, it means stay. Stay with the new action, the new script, the new identity, even when it feels shaky and like you're pretending. Because you're not pretending, you're practicing. And practice, as we know, rewires your brain. So let's break it down this way. There's 3 stages. Stage 1 is it feels fake. It doesn't feel like me. Stage 2, it's a little bit more familiar. It's starting to feel a bit easier. And stage 3 is foundational. This is just who I am now. But the only way you get to stage 3 is by living through stage 1 and then stage 2. So please, sweetheart, when the voice says this is fake, say back, of course it feels fake, because I'm building something I've never had before, because I'm stepping into someone I've never allowed myself to be. You don't need to feel it yet, you just need to keep doing it with gentleness, breath, and honesty. The belief will catch up, the self-trust will grow, the nervous system will stabilize, and the new identity will settle. And one day you'll wake up and realize the thing that felt fake, it's who I am now. And I can't even imagine living that other way anymore. At this point in your journey, whether you're new to recovery or deep in it, you're faced with a decision that no one else can make for you. Will I keep choosing comfort, or will I start choosing freedom? Because let's be honest, comfort is predictable, it keeps you from shaking things up, but it's also the very thing keeping you stuck. And most of what we call comfort is fear in disguise, and it's not comfort, it's avoidance. It's control, routine, and staying in the known, even when the known is killing your joy. So take a breath and get radically honest now. What is your comfort zone costing you? How many spontaneous meals have you declined because they didn't fit in your rules? How many moments of joy, fun, love, connection have you skipped because your brain was preoccupied with calories, steps, control? How much of you has been silenced, censored, shrunk, just to avoid the discomfort of being fully expressed? Now ask yourself, has staying safe actually made you feel safe? Because for most people, the answer is no. The rules don't make you feel free, the control doesn't quieten your mind, and the restriction doesn't lead to peace. The shrinking doesn't make you feel safe, and the silence doesn't make you feel heard. It just leaves you feeling lonely, disconnected from other people and yourself. Self-responsibility is not punishment, it's power. And when I talk about responsibility, I don't mean blame, and I don't mean shame, and I don't mean you got yourself here, so fix it. I mean this. You are the one who can stop abandoning yourself now. You are the one who can begin to act like you matter. You are the one who can start saying, enough, I'm not living in fear anymore. You are the one who can stop making choices from a place of guilt and start making them from a place of love. You're not broken or too late, but you are in charge now. And that's what tough love looks like. Tough love doesn't let you keep shrinking. It doesn't co-sign your avoidance. Tough love looks you in the eye and says, we can keep doing what's familiar and stay stuck, or you can start doing what's hard and get free. You can keep listening to the voice that keeps you small, or you can get brave enough to hear your real one. You can keep waiting for the feeling, or you can become the person who acts like somebody worth fighting for. You don't need to feel ready, you need to feel done. You don't need to feel confident or worthy or feel like you love yourself yet. You just need to feel done. Done with the control, done with the mental noise, done with the anxiety, the guilt, the pressure, the rules, and choosing safety over life. When you hit that point, when you know you're done, you don't need motivation. You need a plan, you need support, and you need to act. Because the action comes first, always. I'm going to say it again. Belief follows action, not the other way round. You don't wait to feel like a person who can recover. You act like a person who is recovering. And then your brain learns to believe it. I didn't wait to feel confident to post the video. I posted the video, even feeling slightly sick. And again and again. And now I'm realizing that it doesn't feel that bad anymore. You don't wait to feel like you're allowed to rest. You rest even while the guilt is screaming. And eventually it starts to soften and peace takes its place. This is what I've had to live through in my own journey. Every time I post, every time I show my face, every time I speak up about the circle, I choose discomfort. But I choose it because I've chosen something greater than comfort. I've chosen purpose, I've chosen integrity, and I've chosen freedom. And I invite you to do the same. So come with me. You don't have to do this alone. You've listened to a lot of truth, a lot of challenge, and a lot of possibility. And maybe somewhere inside you feel like There's a bit of a crack opening. You feel seen because I see you. You feel stirred. Maybe you feel a bit scared because something in you knows that this is it, this is true, and this is the moment you stop waiting, the moment you stop playing small, and the moment you stop pretending that you're not ready, when really you've been ready for a long time. Not ready in the sense of feeling brave or certain or confident, but ready in the sense of being done. Done with shrinking, surviving, barely existing. Done with bargaining with your body. Done with trying to make yourself acceptable, invisible, small, good enough. And now it's time for you to come back home for yourself, to take your life back, to become someone who shows up for herself, not just once, but again and again, not just when it's easy, when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And that is what we do in the Eating Disorder Recovery Circle. It's not just group coaching. It's community, it's structure, it's safety, and it's truth. I created the circle because I knew people needed more than inspiration, more than short videos, more than scattered podcasts, more than 15-minute appointments once every few weeks. You need real-time support. You need tools, you need coaching, you need community. You need a place where you can be fully yourself, messy, scared, inconsistent, angry, hopeful, and still be held. So the circle includes monthly live coaching calls with me, question and answer sessions every month, the feelings navigator, so you stop spiraling in the feelings and start being with yourself and working through them and understanding. Courses and resources that meet you exactly where you are. An incredible group chat space where connection replaces shame and people lift each other up and support each other. And recovery challenges every week so you're always moving forwards, even when motivation doesn't seem to be there. And above all, it's a place where we speak the truth, where we do this tough love, real love, freedom-rooted work together. Because healing was never meant to be done alone. And you don't have to be perfect to start. You don't have to be the right mindset. You don't have to be convinced you can do it. You don't have to have made peace with food or your body yet. You just have to be willing to take the first step and let us meet you there. We'll hold you through the parts that feel fake, remind you what's real when the eating disorder voice gets loud. Celebrate the small wins. And we'll keep showing up for you so that you learn how to show up for yourself. You're allowed to need that support. You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to stop struggling alone. And this is your invitation from my heart to yours. I didn't create this platform because it was easy for me. I created it because it was hard. Because I know what it's like to live in fear, to hide, to feel your body is a battleground, to question every bite, every move, every mirror, and every emotion, and my worth. And I also know what it's like to come out the other side, to live with ease, to eat with freedom, to take up space, to be visible, and to know that I'm good enough, to stop constantly scanning for danger and to feel safe inside myself. And that is what I want for you, and that is what is waiting for you in the circle. So if this episode has stirred something in you, maybe a little voice inside saying, maybe I can, maybe this is for me. Listen to that voice because she is your real voice and she's right. You're not broken, failing, or behind. You're on the edge of something incredible and sacred. And the only thing you have to do is keep showing up. One brave, wobbly, honest step at a time. One act of tough love, self-love at a time. One choice for freedom over comfort at a time. And if you want to do that surrounded by others that get it, who are walking the same path, I will welcome you with my whole heart into the circle. You can find the link in the show notes, or feel free to message me or email me, and I will help you find your next step. You've got this, and I've got you. So I will see you next time, and I would love to see you in the circle. Lots of love.